We put sugar in everything we eat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, coffee, you name it. Sugar is in it. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine, and yet we're feeding it to ourselves and our own kids. So how did we get here? It starts with something called coloniality. I went to a conference a couple weeks ago hosted by Shape Up San Francisco, led by Dr. Amber McZeal, who really knows her stuff. So let's jump into what I learned. Coloniality, in a sense, is a system that was designed to exploit other people. Coloniality is your big bad guy behind the curtains when you're talking about racism or slavery or just exploitative capitalism. So back in the day, sugar was becoming pretty profitable. So profitable, in fact, that people started calling it white gold. And when you've got something called white gold, you would imagine that a lot of people would want in on it. So they decided to go the slavery route and exploit slaves in order to build what we now call the sugar industry off the backs of our ancestors. But how does this translate to today? How do companies still manage to get sugar everywhere and still see record profits every single year? It's called lobbying. You have these sugar companies lobbying the US government to say, hey guys, sugar is not just not bad for you, but it's good for you. It's good, right? Even though we all know now it does contribute to heart disease. And you might go online and find something that says otherwise and say, oh, well, actually, no, that's not true because sugar is actually healthy for you. I'm willing to bet that was written by someone that is part of the sugar industry or by a lobbied government body. The most interesting thing I learned at this conference was something called a miracle fruit. The miracle fruit is a fruit that when you eat it, it makes everything sour taste very sweet afterwards for the next few hours. Like a lemon, for example. You could take lemon juice, eat this little berry, and basically have lemonade. So you could see why the sugar industry might have seen something like this as a threat, right? Which they did. So those little slime balls decided to use corrupt lobbying tactics to do anything they could to prevent the public from getting access to this thing. You know, now that I think about it, it's kind of crazy how much harm sugar has done, not only to our bodies. You know, we already know that it leads to heart disease, diabetes, and other health issues, obesity as well. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like I didn't even know about all the stuff before, like coloniality and the slave trade and all the other stuff that is in the past of sugar. I feel pretty betrayed because this is public knowledge. Like, we are allowed access to this information. It's just we don't know about this. We're not taught this in school. And this presentation, we learned about another thing called decoloniality, which is recognizing coloniality and the problems that have brought us here from the past and doing what we can to get rid of those things and move forward as a better human race and treat each other better while still progressing. I'm going to be going to more of these things, so stick around, keep watching. I'm going to be making follow-up videos to every single session I go to. Each session is presented by Dr. Amber McZeal, who works with the San Francisco Department of Health's Shape Up San Francisco, which is all funded by the sugar distributor tax, which is a pretty great way to make the sugar industry pay. Or at least do something that helps right the wrongs that they have caused. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.